Hi everyone, this is Ronnie. I wanted to make a video about Candida because it's something that I've always seen in the raw food forums and groups and videos and stuff, and sometimes I've heard people talk about having Candida. And most of the time, to be honest, I pretty much think that Candida is like a red flag for me. It's like when I hear someone saying they've got all these problems and Candida is one of them, I often just go, yeah, this is probably someone that's just like read some information and they have diagnosed themselves with Candida, or they've maybe been to a naturopath or someone that's said, "What's happening? Oh, I'm eating lots of fruit. Oh yeah, you've got Candida," or something like something silly like that's happened, and it's not really a real thing. I'm not a doctor and I'm not a specialist in Candida, but to me, when I see that, I'm just always like, yeah, that person's not got Candida. That's not the problem. That's just my instinct, my feeling, because I've seen so many people talk about it, and a lot of people seem to relate it to sugar or eating a lot of fruit. Like automatically, they just think, oh yeah, I was eating lots of fruit, I must have Candida now. It's one of these raw food things that people talk about, these raw food diseases or something. I don't know why it always pops up in raw food circles, right? When I first heard about Candida, what I heard was that Candida was like a yeast or a fungus or something that is naturally occurring in the bloodstream, and that when you have a lot of sugar in your bloodstream, the Candida eats like the excess. And the problem with people with Candida is that they have too much fat in their diet, and that's leading to like high spikes of sugar, leading to a bloom of Candida. And I've never really looked into it that much more. It's not been something that concerned me or affected me, but I've heard of various people that have tried to help with that or tried to give information about it. There's a lot of Candida, cleanses and Candida supplements and different things like that, which I'm not particularly trusting of, not particularly thinking that those are real things that actually work. But I find people sharing this information around about Candida. And if you just go and look at the basic, so I did like basic research. I went to look at the Wikipedia page on Candida albicans. Maybe people are talking about something different, but I'm kind of surprised that it's actually quite a dangerous thing for people to have. But it's generally people to have an infection of it. But it's generally people that are on immunosuppressant kind of drugs like HIV, they've got AIDS or HIV, or they've had a transplant of some kind of thing. Let's read a little bit out from the Wikipedia. Candida albicans is an opportunistic pathogenic yeast, a common member of the human gut flora. It can also survive outside the body. It's detected in the gastrointestinal tract and mouth in 40 to 60% of healthy adults. It's usually a commensal organism, but it can become pathogenic in immunocompromised individuals under a variety of conditions. It's one of the few species of the genus Candida that causes the human infection candidiasis, which results from an overgrowth of the fungus. For example, often observed in HIV-infected patients. Together responsible for blah blah blah. And here's a mortality rate of 40% has been reported for patients with systemic candidiasis. 40% mortality rate? By one estimate, invasive candidiasis contracted in the hospital causes 2,800 to 11,000 deaths in the US every year. These may not reflect the true extent, given that Candida can cross the blood-brain barrier. Commonly used as a model organism for fungal pathogens, it's generally blah 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 blah. I don't really see anything about it being in raw fooders or fruit or anything, and I don't see anything about the fat thing that I've heard. And then there's yeast stuff, high frequency, there's all sorts of stuff. So I never realised it was that powerful. Apparently, it's killing people out there. So I made a whole thing on Instagram saying, when people are talking about having Candida, it's a lot of nonsense. But so I kind of feel like that a lot of the time, that it is that people get a rash or a reaction or something, and they feel like they've got Candida when they don't really have Candida. As with all of these things, I would suggest that if you have not been diagnosed medically with that condition by someone that is qualified to do that diagnosis, you most likely do not have it. Most likely, I mean, there's a chance that you've diagnosed yourself correctly, but if you just feel bad, that doesn't mean you've got some disease or something. Like, there's more to it. So I would like everyone to be cautious about diagnosing themselves and to never diagnose another person. And unless you're qualified to do that and you have all the background information, and like, it's not just, you can't just be a doctor and diagnose people either. You need to know their history, you need to know their lifestyle, their medication they're on, genetic information maybe, and you need to test them appropriately before you can make that kind of judgment. Now, can an experienced doctor make that judgment more quicker or whatever? I guess they can, and maybe they don't need to have all that, but I would still say that be very cautious about diagnosing yourself with something and then trying to treat it with, I really don't like this kind of behaviour. It's really dangerous, and you should never ever ever diagnose another person, and as I say, that includes if you're a doctor and you don't have all the information. It's really bad, dangerous kind of stuff. So clearly Candida is actually kind of dangerous, which I didn't. I thought it was just like some some kind of like small problem, but obviously when you start eating more raw food, you might feel funny. If you start eating more fruit, you might feel weird. You might get rashes. You might get things like that. You might get things coming out of your skin, or spots coming up and all that, and that's a good thing. Like, that's your body cleaning house as far as I'm concerned, and most of the time that's all that it is, and you'll get back to normal or even better than normal pretty quick. But if you really seriously think you've got something like Candida, then go and find out properly, and then, like, don't obsess over it. If you don't actually have it, then leave it. Like, stop. Don't don't continue to make yourself believe that you've got something that's not there. And don't do these Candida cleanses and parasite cleanses and whatever. What you need to do is, if it's as dangerous as Wikipedia is making out, then you need to get whatever the proper care is. And yeah, that might be antibiotics. I'm sorry if a lot of you are religious against antibiotics, but they do save lives, and it would be worth looking into. So there's a great example. You could have someone on a raw food forum that says blah blah blah, I think I've got Candida, and you could go, yeah, sounds like you do have Candida or whatever. Yeah, how about you try this parasite cleanse? And they've not let you know that they have HIV, or that they've had a kidney transplant and they're on immunosuppressant drugs. They've not told you that information, and you're going around trying to diagnose them or whatever. So, if you think you've got disease kind of issues, bacterial infections, fungus, whatever, all this stuff, like, the medical community has an answer for that. I'm not really into trying to find the natural answer all the time for everything. Like, if you're talking about chronic diseases that are caused by diet, you can have some fantastic results on a raw vegan diet for treating heart disease and diabetes, and reducing your chance of getting all sorts of things, and reversing autoimmune conditions of all sorts of kinds, like arthritis type conditions and things like that. And for many people, just symptoms of disease, headaches, pains, digestive issues, these can all be reversed with a raw vegan type of a diet and lifestyle and all the other things that added to it. Certain other things can't. I mean, you're not going to reverse like polio on a raw vegan diet, or smallpox, all these kind of things, and probably a lot of these bacterial infections and things that people are getting. You're going to be healthier on a raw vegan diet, you're going to feel better, and your body's going to have more power maybe to fight these things, but it's not the best. It's not the best solution in the moment. Raw vegan diet should be your diet for improving your health, having lots of energy, having a great life, feeling good. It's not always the cure, it's not always the doctor, because it isn't a cure. It's about giving the body the chance to heal itself by removing the obstacles, by removing things that are draining the body of precious energy. So yeah, that's basically my message on all this stuff. I think I'm quite consistent on this. Listen, when I came into the raw food thing, I totally, at the time, I kind of believed it would heal almost everything, like all kind of conditions, and I still believe that for a lot. I think there's a lot of, like, maybe even things like schizophrenia and depression and like multiple personality disorders. I think there's all kind of things. OCD. I think there's a lot of mental related to conditions that could be fixed on a raw vegan diet. Obviously, addictions can be helped. I think there's a lot of stuff that we don't even know yet that can be completely healed on a raw vegan diet. But I'm not yet willing to like bet my life on it. You know, I'm not going to think, hey, I'm just going to fast. You know, if I get sick, then I know it's not my diet, basically. Is that vain? But if I go somewhere, if I'm exposed to something, if I get some injury, if I get some problem, if I have to go to the hospital, well, I know it's not diet related. You know, so why would changing my diet improve it? Like, oh, I'm gonna cut out avocados and that'll be what it is. I need to cleanse more. I need to detox more. I need to do more fasting. Like, there's some things that are outside the diet. So my message for all of you, if you're wanting to know if you've got a particular condition, don't go to a raw food forum. Go to your doctor. If you're not happy with their opinion, get a second opinion. But if you've got 2-3 doctors telling you don't have thyroid issues, that you don't have Candida, that you don't have certain like things, like, you got to give it a rest. Then, you know, your desire to be sick, you know, your desire to find out that you're really sick is in itself a really worrying thing, you know. And that's a real thing as well, that people want to be sick for the attention. It's called Munchausen's or something, and then there's some people that bring their child in, they want their child to be sick. I think that's Munchausen's by proxy and weird things like that. You don't want to be sick, you want to be healthy, you know. You want to be powerful, healthy, vital, you want to make a contribution to the world. The best that you're ever going to feel as a human being, of course, first step, you've got to be healthy, you've got to take care of the basics of life. You know, you got to be in a warm environment, you got to be comfortable, you know, you got to have healthy food, you got to have enough food to feel good, you got to get some activity, some exercise, you know, basic things. Human interaction, incredibly important for your mental health, to be around people and all that stuff, really important. But when we go above and beyond that, once we've achieved all those things, basic security, you know, you've got enough money to just basically secure your life and all that stuff. After that, it's going to be eventually about contribution and about helping other people and about kindness and about all these things. Like, that's what you want to go towards if you're not feeling great about yourself and your life. Like, what contribution can you make, rather than thinking, how much better can I do this diet so I can feel 1% better, you know. Anyway, I hope you don't have Candida. If you do, then go to the doctor, find out what you can do about that. Always improve your diet as a byproduct of like wanting to be healthy, want to feel better, but don't always expect that's the answer. And I'm not a big supporter of all these cleanses and things like that. But yeah, thank you for watching. Hope you're doing well out there in this world. I'm thinking of doing something for the new year. Maybe we'll do a course or something. I don't know if you'd like to have. Maybe I'll do a 12-step course or something. I'm not sure if that'd be of interest to you. I do have the coaching. I'll open that up again. The Fruitfest, fruitfest.co.uk/registration if you want to learn more about that. And thanks a lot for watching and subscribing. Thanks for supporting the channel over the last year, and any comments down below. If you'd like to make a video about anything, or reply to anything, or you've seen someone make a video and you don't understand their information, then feel free to do that. I'll put some links below, learn more about what I'm doing, and thank you for watching.